Hello and welcome to another episode of Sam Interviews. This interview was done with Hannah Byczkowski. You can follow Hannah on social media at Hannah Bitch underscore cough underscore ski on Instagram and Hannah BYCZ on Twitter. You can also follow me on Instagram at Sam James-Neal and on Twitter at I am Sam Rick. You can also follow the podcast on social media as well. That is chosensubject.podcast on Instagram and chosen_subject on Twitter. I hope you enjoyed this episode. So my first question is, what is your favourite TV show?
Of all time or currently?
Both.
Am I being unreasonable by Disney Cooper?
Okay.
I think that's excellent.
That's on my watch list. I want to watch that one.
I'm watching it again for the second time
Okay. So it's good.
because I love it that much.
Is that of all time or is that currently?
That's currently of all time. Oh my god, what a difficult. That's the hardest question I've ever been asked. My favorite TV show of all time, Modern Family.
That's such a good show. That's such a good show.
It's just a classic, comforting all the time.
Yes. Yes. I've only recently started it and it's amazing. It's so
Oh, what a
good.
treat! I think I've watched it about 4 times.
Yeah. It's very, very good. My boyfriend told me to watch it because I recently watched People Just Do Nothing and I didn't want to watch TV anymore because I really enjoyed it. But he was
Mm.
like, "No, here you go. Watch Modern Family." And I want it's like one of them shows that you want to stop watching because you don't want to have the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's about 9 seasons or something in there, so
But
it's not too sad. But you can start it again, and it's still just as good.
the next question is, what's your favorite book?
After Midnight by Richard Layton.
Okay, I've not heard of it. What's it about?
Uh, it's it's horror book.
Okay.
And I'm very I'm very eclectic with my book tastes. I can go soppy, I can go scary, I can go funny. But it's just basically a night where this woman has accidentally macheted a man in half,
Okay.
which does sound completely unrealistic, and I do understand why people would understand how difficult it is to machete a person in half.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy it. There's something comforting about it. I don't know why.
So, moving on slightly, what is your favorite music genre? Do you have a favorite band?
I don't have a favorite music genre. I have songs that I like that are my favorites week to week, and then I play them continuously until I get bored of them, and then I find
Yeah.
a new song. But it could be anything. It could be it's across the board. I definitely couldn't say I have a particular genre. I think I prefer songs from like the 80s and the 90s than I do more modern songs, definitely.
Yeah, I think I'm slightly the same. I think there's a film that I really, really love, and it's called The Wedding Singer, and
Mm.
it's like Adam Sandler's in it, and it's about him singing at weddings, and it's very kind of 80s. And I
Yeah,
think I
it's a good
love
film.
that bit about it. It's such a good film.
Very good film.
Um, I think that's what I like about it because it is the 80s. Speaking of films, what is your favorite film?
Changes so much. I love shit films, like shit scary films. I love those. My favorite film of all time. Do you know what? It might be Nightmare Before Christmas because I watch it every week.
Really good. That's a really good film.
But it's not. It depends. It depends. I like that because it's comforting and I like it and I like falling asleep to it. And but there are other things I like for different reasons. Green Mile, excellent
A
film.
good,
I love that. Actually, no, I'm going to change my answer. My
okay.
favorite film is Stand by Me.
I've heard of it, but never seen it.
That's my favorite film.
Okay.
That's all.
I do think going back to the Green Mile, I do think the Green Mile is extremely sad. Like
Yeah,
it's like it took me 2 days to watch it because I had to pause it because I was like not. It was very
It's a
upsetting,
very sad film. It is, yeah.
and it's very well acted as well. Like
Yeah,
the actors that they picked are very talented.
they are. And I think my sensitivity to that kind of thing is a bit hardened because I used to work with people who were dying. So I used to my job was very, very, it was very intense. So I kind of become a little bit desensitized to it, I suppose. That I can just block it off a bit easier than other people can, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think I do enjoy it though. It is a really good film. It's nice. It's I find that quite a comforting film to watch as well. Strangely,
So moving on to the next one, what is your favorite question that you have ever been asked, or what is your favorite question that you've asked someone?
oh my goodness me. What's my favorite question I've ever been asked? Um, I like when people ask things that you can debate about. I like the question of, "Do you believe in ghosts?" Because
Okay.
it presents a very fun discussion. I like. I don't know. I think I like things that pose debate that can present something that you can talk about and explore a little bit. Uh, you know what I mean?
Yes. So I'm gonna ask you that question. Do you believe in ghosts?
I don't, but I do wish that there were that they existed, but I don't think I do believe it now. There's
Okay.
a scientific reason behind everything,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I thought the same thing. And then there's a BBC show called Ghosts, and that just completely changed the way that I view things. It's a
So
comedy show.
did it convince you that it was right?
I think because those ghosts are so friendly and so nice that like I want to believe in it.
I think it just means that there's a bit more point to life if
Yeah.
there's something else rather than nothing existing. But I don't think it is. I think it's just nature and that's it. Sadly, I wish there was. I kind of think I've had a ghost experience, but I still don't believe in it. But I
Oh,
still think
I want to
I'm
know.
still seeing a ghost.
Okay, I want to know. I'm interested now.
But it's hard because I think I was about 16 when this happened. I'm 32 now, so I was about 16 when this happened, and so I don't know whether my mind has adjusted the memory of what happened. But anyway, I thought what this is what I remember happening is I'd be sat in my bedroom, obviously at my parents' house, and I had a mirror on the wall, and through the mirror I could see the door. So as I was
Yeah.
looking in the mirror, and my door was open, I saw my dad walk past my bedroom door and go into the bathroom. And I heard him turn the taps on, which he would normally do when he comes home from work because he's a tiler and he's a labourer, so he would always come in and have a shower. Um, and so I shouted him and he didn't respond to me. I think I wanted him to give me a lift or something. So I went to the bathroom and nobody was there. So I just thought, oh, he's walked out and I didn't see him. And then I asked my mom, who was downstairs, where's dad? And she said he's coming home in about an hour now, so he's not at home. But but I was so convinced that he was there that I shouted him because I thought I saw him.
Yeah.
Mm. So, but I still
That's
don't know if I believe in ghosts.
that's I've not heard something like that before. Because
I've been
normally it's
listening
like,
to Uncanny on a Uncanny podcast. I heard of it. That's about
yeah,
ghost stories, and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
I've been thinking about that a lot more recently because I've been listening to it, but I don't know. I don't know whether I've made that up in my head. You also we what is it? We only can tap into about 10% of our brains. So the
Yeah.
rest, there are always going to, the possibility of your brain making things up or something that we haven't quite tapped into as like you've tapped into for half a second perhaps. And that's more likely than ghosts, sadly.
Yeah.
But I would love it to
See,
be real.
when like you hear ghost stories, it tends to be like the TV turned on or like something moved in the house, something fell off a shelf, that kind of thing.
Mm,
So I've never heard someone be like they saw someone walk that's like still living.
mm.
Um,
And I mean, normally they're all like in Victorian clothes. I don't know why
Yeah,
they're all in Victorian clothes.
yeah. They're
Why
all
have no one got like an I'm with stupid t-shirt and a pair of jeans on? Why are they all
yeah,
in Victorian clothes? It's outrageous. So, but that, and I think people make it up quite a lot of the time as well, make it up badly. So that
yeah,
kind of annoys me. So I just get a bit annoyed with the whole situation. But I do wish they were real. I would really like them to be real. I'd like that a
yeah.
lot.
I think the reason that they're in that type of clothes is because it seemed as like scarier.
Yeah.
I
And then
think it adds
everyone
the
just kind of,
scare
it's a
factor.
cliche.
Moving on slightly to the next question. Have you read anything interesting recently?
I haven't read anything for a while, actually, which is very bad. I don't know what my attention span can't. I struggle to read now. I don't know whether it's writing and comedy and all that stuff, but I haven't actually read anything, which is a bit of an annoying answer, I know, but I can't really think of anything.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look around, see if there's anything that reminds me, but I haven't read anything interesting.
Yeah. I like answer I ask these questions every single recording that I do, and I've done quite a few. And I feel like I always need to give an answer to this question. But the amount of times that I've answered it, I've started to like run out of things. I mean, the one I kind of always go to, which is kind of really scary, is I was on a train and there was like kids. There was like because it was a really busy train. I was like sat on a table with like a family, and the kids went turned to like I'm gonna assume it was their dad. I mean, they literally went, "Dad, did you know this?" So I'm gonna assume it's their dad, but they went, "Did you know that if you cut a cockroach's head off, it survived for 2 days?" Which is
2 days,
the
that's a
weirdest
long
thing to
time, isn't
say.
it?
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing to hear on a train in London.
Have you fact checked?
Yes, I have. I did. I did because
And it is true.
um it is true. I do some stand
Oh,
up and I wrote a stand up piece about it, so I wanted to make sure it was right.
okay,
And it turned out to be. Um
right.
which is scary because a child knew that,
Mm.
which makes me question like what are kids watching?
Well,
That's gonna be on
I
like
think it's a kind
CDs.
of nature thing, isn't it? Really, more than,
Yeah,
uh, and it is quite interesting because I suppose you kind of the brain is in the head, so why? How does that happen? But I find that's
yeah.
quite interesting.
It was like scary the fact that they knew that though. Right, this is like the last question as part of the like getting to know you questions for the
Mhm.
career. Um, do you have any hobbies? Like apart from comedy, do you have any hobbies?
I like swimming a lot.
Like,
I do anything to do with water. Um, do I have any hobbies? No, it's really boring, unfortunately. I spent so long working and doing comedy that now I've quit my day job and I've got some more free time that I actually have lost any interest in finding anything recently, annoyingly. Um
yeah.
Drinking is a hobby.
Okay.
Don't know if you can class it as that. Uh yeah, unfortunately, I don't really. Swimming, I do like swimming a lot. I do enjoy that. That's fun. Um and that's it.
I love swimming. But like I hate the sea. Like I hate going deep in the sea because I was on holiday as like a young child with my mate and they went into the water and they came out screaming because they got stung by a jellyfish and now I just can't do water like in the sea.
Jellyfish are the least of your worries in the sea as well. When all the things,
Yeah.
the sea is really interesting because again, we don't know anything about what's happening underneath the sea.
Yeah.
It's also I find it so bizarre that there are like all these animals, it were massive animals, and the only thing that's stopping them from killing us is that they need water.
Yeah.
That's it, and we're just sat around living our lives when there are all these mad things in the ocean that we don't even know about. It's crazy. My friend thinks that aliens live in the ocean. That's where aliens come from.
Okay. Um
But I like the sea. It interests me. It scares me, but I love the sea.
Yeah.
Scuba diving, I love that. Anything that's adrenaline fueled, I'm interested in.
Okay.
Skydiving, scuba diving, anything, anything that gets your adrenaline going. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why I do comedy.
I did a zip line recently, and I think it's the second largest in the UK or the largest in the UK.
Oh wow,
Um, it
how
was
was that?
like I have really enjoyed it. I remember because you have to like go in this like vehicle to go to the top of a hill so you can go down.
Mm,
I remember going up and it was this like scary moment of my life. I was like, because my mum went with me. I was like, I'm just gonna disown you now. This is how I disown you. This is how, like, this is it. I just remember like being so scared, like standing just about to leave and like wanting to cry. As soon as I
yeah,
left and as soon as I was off, it was like the best feeling ever.
yeah, exactly. And it's addictive as well.
It was it was so freeing and so nice. And it's like to the point where like that's how I view skydiving. I'm so scared of it, but I think I want to do it.
Yeah. Well, once you start rationalizing things in your head, that it's highly unlikely that anything's going to happen to your skydiving.
Yeah.
And in that case, the only thing there is to just like get through because you know that you'll live through. You know that there's nothing. What's the worst that can happen?
But then like you see stuff with like people's parachutes not opening, and then that's like enough to like make you stop.
But once or twice, I think that's it. It's not a
It's not
big.
yeah, it's not common.
I think also what tends to happen is if someone jumps at the same time, and then your parachute can get tangled. Because I jumped with a cameraman at the same time as me, and I've only found out afterwards that was the most it's still not dangerous, but that was the most likely time that anything's ever going to go wrong in skydiving is when you're jumping out with somebody else.
I'm
So
curious,
just don't do
how
that.
come you had like a cameraman?
Just because I did it in Australia and I think they wanted some promo footage, so they just
Oh,
chose
okay.
me.
Yeah.
Nothing more interesting than that, unfortunately.
I remember like I knew someone that did a skydive and I went with them. I didn't go and like do the skydive. I was kind of like waiting for them and like I watched them do it. And since then I've like wanted to do it, but it's still like the fear factor there.
So you just have to do it, I suppose. I
Yeah.
just have to go and do it and not think about it.
It's definitely something that's like on the list of wanting to do.
Yeah, you should. It's good.
Um,
It's very, very fun.
I think another thing that I've done that like causes adrenaline is I did an escape room.
Okay.
And I think they're very stressful. Have you done one recently?
I've done it. Yeah, I did a scary one, which
I
was
couldn't
even
do that.
worse.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that was a bit weird, to be
Yeah,
honest. But yeah, I like an escape room. I get a bit bored of them, to be honest.
yeah.
So I don't do too many. But when I do them, I like a scary one.
I did mine with my boyfriend. At that point, I think we were dating for about 5 months,
Mm.
and it was not great to the point where we make regular jokes about it to this day. But I do view stuff like that, and I think at least I got stand up out of it. Like at
There
least I
you
could
go.
write
Yeah,
stand
that's
up on
all that
it.
matters. That's all you think is, as long as it's material.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start going into the comedy questions now.
Okay.
What year did you start doing stand up?
September 2020.
Oh, so pretty recently.
Very recently, yeah. I'm still classed as
Um,
a newbie.
what made you start?
Um, I think I'd been doing quite a sense, well, I'd been doing a job that had a lot of responsibilities. I was managing dementia wards. I was supporting people with death. There was a lot, and how old was I then? I was 30 then, so I've been doing this job, working my way up since I was about 23. So I've been doing it for nearly 10 years, and it just was never. So I always kind of thought that, I was living for the weekend, and I didn't enjoy my job particularly. I just didn't enjoy it, and I thought that maybe that's how everybody felt about life, and that you don't necessarily enjoy work. You just have to get through it in order to get home at 5 o'clock every day, and then to have your weekends and have your retirement plan. And I think I just thought there's got to be way more than this. And again, adrenaline is something that I love doing, and I like being funny. I like it when I'm in a group of friends and I tell a story and people think it's funny. I like it when people go, "Oh, you should be on stage," or whatever. And I thought the best way to get the instant gratification is by doing stand-up comedy. So I thought I'd just give it a go. Really, I never expected it to be. I mean, I always hoped that it would be my full-time job. I didn't expect it to be this soon. But yeah, I just wanted something more. I wanted to I didn't want to be waiting for the weekend anymore. I wanted to enjoy every single aspect of my life, my job, and I think I think I found it in
Yeah.
comedy.
I think half the battle sometimes is finding a job where you like it, because a
Yeah,
large amount of the a large amount of people don't like their job. And
exactly.
I've kind of been raised with, like, my dad always talks about how much he loves his job, and always talks about how much, like, everyone should find a job that they enjoy.
Yeah,
So I'm very lucky in the fact that it's never been about money within, like, my family. It's always been about having fun and actually enjoying what
yeah,
you're doing.
and it
Um,
absolutely is. That's the most important thing.
yes. So I think I'm very proud of you. I think it's a massive step to, like, quit your job and do stand up. I think that that's really brave, and I'm very proud of you for doing
Thank
that.
you very much.
Like, I can't put myself in that shoe like your shoes, because I don't know how you'd feel, but like I can see how the adrenaline came into that.
Mm, yeah,
And I think it's better to enjoy your job than to wait for the weekends.
definitely, definitely. It's a lot better. It's a lot more enjoyable now.
Yeah. You kind of answered this, but what was life like before stand up? Was it literally just a job? Was it waiting for the weekends?
Yeah, it was really boring looking back on it now. I mean, at the time it was fine. At the time there was nothing wrong with it. I haven't really got anything to complain about. But looking back, I just think, thank God I changed it up. Thank God I kind of identified there was an issue. Well, not an issue, but I identified that I wasn't happy. And well, I wasn't happy. I was happy. I was fine. There was nothing wrong with me. Me and the people that I love were all very happy and healthy. There was nothing, there was absolutely nothing wrong with my life, but there was nothing spectacular about it either. And I wanted it to be magnificent, and
Yeah.
it just wasn't. So yeah, I'm very very glad that I started doing it. That I found comedy.
Yeah. Um, so what is your stand-up about? Like, what's your jokes focused on?
It's mainly story. It's mainly storytelling, and it's relatable humor. It's not just humor that women can relate to. I think it's definitely humor that men and women can relate to. Because I'm not really a girly girl. I'm more of like, and especially not on stage either. I'm definitely, I don't know. I'd like to think that when people see me do stand up, it's like we're all friends and you're in on the joke with me.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So for that, for however long my set is, whether it's 10, 20 minutes, for that amount of time, we're all in on the same joke and we're all together in it.
Yeah.
And that's how I hope it comes across anyway. But it is, yeah, it's observational, it's storytelling,
Mhm.
relatable comedy, I like to hope.
Yes. I do enjoy the vibe when you go into, so like I've seen quite a lot of stand up, and I do
Mm,
enjoy it when you go into the stand up and the comedian makes it so it's not just like them telling you jokes, it's like a group thing.
exactly, yeah. Yeah. Like a bunch of mates at the pub.
Yes. And I feel like Takisa does a very similar thing, and
Yeah.
I love her stand up very much. I think she's very talented.
Yeah, she is. She's excellent. We're very good friends. She is an excellent
Yeah.
comedian.
Right. So moving on to the next joke. Next joke. What? Next question. Um, what is your favorite joke?
Of mine or of anyone's?
Let's go both. What's your favorite joke, and then what's your just favorite joke in general?
Um, I think I'm not a fan of edgy comedy normally, but Ricky Gervais's joke about why he never had children, I thought was really. I think is probably my favorite joke I've ever heard, just because of the delivery.
Not
Um,
heard of that one.
it's I have a look at it after it's gone. I can't remember which it's on. Oh, which one? It's not Animals. I know that it's might be the one that's on Netflix. But yeah, it's a very very good joke. Um, quite edgy to be fair, but it's a very good with the way he delivered it. I laughed at it quite a lot. Um, my favorite joke that I tell um is probably a bit about brunch that I have. I don't know if you've ever seen my comedy before, but it's a bit about brunch. Um,
Yeah.
and kind of the same people at brunch all the time, and because it's a very basic thing to do in London, especially. And I do it all the time. I do it all the time. Bottomless brunch is it's my favorite. That's another hobby actually. But
Yeah.
I do it all the time. So I like that joke because I like it when people. I like seeing the recognition in people's faces. Uh, because it's 100% true. So that's definitely my favorite joke.
I've seen in terms of your stand-up, you have like a video on YouTube, and I've seen that one.
Okay.
That was very good.
I'm not very good at uploading things, to be fair.
Yeah. Um, I did see that one. It was very, very good. I think you are very,
Thank
very
you.
talented.
Oh, thank you very
Um,
much.
what is your I always say this word wrong. I always say the word wrong. What is your creative process?
Um, I think, do you know what? It's hard because normally when you're working, you have a certain amount of hours in a day that you sit at a desk and you do this. You know you do your work, and I don't think writing jokes. It's not as simple as that. Unfortunately, hey, it comes to you at 3 o'clock in the morning. It comes to you at whatever time. I do try and take a few hours a day to lie on my bed, strangely, like at the bottom of the bed, like
Okay.
comfortably lying back and closing my eyes and imagining myself on stage, and then seeing what comes out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And that's how I tend to write jokes. That's how they tend to come. Unless I see something, unless something just pops into my head. If I'm trying to write jokes, I'm trying to think of new material or even topics. That's how I do it. And then obviously we'll go and try out the material. But I tend to hone the jokes that I have first, very, very specifically, however long it takes me to hone them, and then move on to the next thing, rather than have a lot of kind of topics or things that I've started writing about. I'll just focus on that until I've got it to something that I'm really happy with.
Yeah. I do my jokes and I have like a notes app on my phone and all it
Mm-hmm.
is just like one words on my notes.
Mm. Does that work
Um,
for you?
yes, but then you kind of look back on it sometimes and it's
Forget what you
just
meant.
like what was that? What does that even mean?
Yeah.
I get a
I
lot of
don't.
my
I tend not.
jokes.
I try not to use the notes app because I just feel there's a disconnect between me and that material. I don't know why. I try and use a pen and paper as much as I can. Obviously, sometimes I just don't have one with me, but most of the time I always have a notebook and a pen. I don't know whether actually physically writing it down connects with something in your mind that then later on will help you make a joke out of it, or I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I don't. I definitely don't reap the benefits out of the note app.
Yeah.
Um, More so than I would with pen and paper, for example.
Yeah. I do think that your brain can remember what you mean more if you write it down because you're putting
Exactly.
more thought into writing it than just like writing it on your phone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I get a lot of my jokes through my uncle. Um,
Okay.
so their job when I was younger was to try and scar me in a way. So there was a show that they used to watch all the time called Jigsaw with a character called
Ugh,
Nosy Bonk.
okay.
And one day they just decided to show me that, and it gave me a 5 minute stand-up routine. So
Well, there you go. Yeah.
it was worth it.
All trauma is
Um,
worth it in the end if you can get some comedy out of it.
yeah, yeah. Would you have any advice for anyone starting comedy?
I think to gig every night, no matter no matter the weather, no matter whether or not you're in the mood to be funny, especially on the days where you're not in the mood to be funny. Um, if well, it is if you want to make it a job because there are going to be days when you don't want to be funny, but you still have to do it anyway because that's how you make your living. But there's almost a feeling of when you do it and you do it well, even on the days you don't want to. There's a feeling of I know it sounds twee and cliche, but there's a real rewarding moment when you know that if you can do that, you can do anything.
Yeah,
So it'll also give you different kind of audiences that you're going to have to get used to performing to sometimes. But yeah, gig as much as you possibly can and keep doing it until it pays off.
yeah. I didn't think about that to be fair, and I think that's such a good point. Like comedians that have been in the game for about 10 years don't always wake up and want to do comedy.
No, absolutely not.
And I think I don't know why my brain told me that they always want to be funny, they always want to be a comedian because it's not the case.
Yeah. And I
Um,
think I mean, now even for me, and I've only been doing it for 2 years, but there have been days where I've just thought, I don't want to go and do this. I'm not in the mood. But
yeah,
you have to because that's your job. You can't just because you're not in the mood for it doesn't mean you can't go and do it. So you have to go and do it.
yeah,
Um, but and it almost feels like you've had a more rewarding day in the office.
yeah. So you started comedy during like the lockdown period, right? Like,
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
what was that like?
I think in some ways it might have been a bit easier because I knew that the audiences were going to be smaller. But then when you start out doing comedies, the smaller audiences are almost harder because you can see everyone's faces and you can when there's a sea of faces, it's a lot easier to disassociate the audience. Not in not completely because you still have to connect with them, but you can almost forget that they're all individual people. Whereas when it's a
Yeah,
smaller audience, you can. So I think I thought it was going to be easier, but it actually wasn't. It actually felt a lot harder because there were only a few people. You didn't get as much laughter as you would normally get in a room without. And I, of course, knew nothing of the experience when I first started it. So that was all I ever really knew. But then also, I started when we had a little break in the lockdown.
yeah,
So I did it then. I think that must have been it. Yeah, we had a break in the lockdown. Um, and then, of course, we went back into lockdown. So I only did I think I did one in September, and then my next one was December. So I couldn't gig every night. It was once every couple of months, which now just seems outrageous, really. But yeah, it was weird. It was good. It meant that I had a lot of time to focus on it because we had a lot of time indoors. But then that might have been a bad thing because you can sometimes overthink your material for sure.
yeah.
But it was definitely. I mean, I don't know what it was like to start not in lock. When did you start doing your stand up?
Um, the start of this year, it was
Okay.
like 4 months ago.
Okay,
So
so we've had
really,
very
like recent.
our first time will have been very very different because we're now
Yeah.
obviously completely out of lockdown. Where was your first gig?
Online.
Oh really? Wow, I
Did
hated online Zoom gigs.
you not like that? I loved them.
Hate them.
What did you not like about them?
I didn't like that. I couldn't see anyone. I didn't like. I didn't. You didn't get a laugh. Some
Yeah.
people had turned the mics off. I just felt like I was talking to an empty room, and I didn't. I feed off the audience.
Yeah.
And I like the whole stage. I like the whole dynamite. I like the whole experience of it. So I felt like it was just completely. Yeah, I hated it. But some people really, really like it though. But I hate it.
You do get there's more of an environment in like not online.
Yeah,
I think I like the online stuff though because I'm like in my room, I'm like in a safe environment.
yeah.
Once it's done, I can just go to bed. I don't have to
Mm.
travel. Um, it's I do see what you mean about the laughing and stuff. I think stuff can be a lot funnier when you're in person as well. Like
Yeah,
the same jokes told in the same way can be a lot funnier in person.
absolutely, 100%. Yeah,
So I can see where you're coming from. Um, but I think it was a good way to start because it meant that if it went bad, then I could just like I was in a safe place. I could just go and hide.
yeah. I mean, if that gives you your safety, if that gives you your safety feeling of safety and comfort, then you know,
Yeah,
for your first couple of times, and that's good.
yeah. Um, so if you were to go on tour with anyone, if you were to do like a full tour, but you're joined with another person and you're both getting like equal time doing stand up, who would it be?
Okay. Um, there are some. There. I've got some very very good friends who are in comedy. A friend of mine, he and I just did a split bill together, which went really well. So I think I'd go with him maybe.
Okay.
I'd go with Sakisa. I'd go with someone who I know I'm going to get on with and I enjoy doing comedy with.
Yeah.
So I would only say people who I've gigs with before and people who I know because it makes it so much. I mean, are you talking in terms of just performance or actually working with?
Like just having fun, like what
Yeah,
you
it would
think
have to. Yeah,
would
I
be the
think it
most
would
fun.
be. It would be some people that I have gigs with before, definitely. So yeah, Sakisa would be one because we get on extremely well. Um, the guy I was talking about was Cura Ball. He's great. We have a good time. So any of those two, I think I would pick
Okay.
just because I've worked with them before.
I think it is important to do with a friend though, because
Yeah,
it's not just like once a comedy's over, you go and hide from each other and you're very like away from each other. After the comedy's
yeah,
done, you go and get a drink, you go and like have laughs and stuff like that together. So
exactly.
I think it's
And you
better
can
to go
kind
with
of
a
work
friend.
together, and you have to be able to
Yeah.
respect and appreciate each other whilst
Yeah.
you're working or whilst you're running jokes past each other, and you know,
I think that's really important. All the other answers I've had to that question have been like their idols.
yeah.
Um, but like I can see that, but I think it's more important to go with a friend.
It is definitely more important to go with a friend, especially if you're equal. I mean, if I was to go and support somebody on tour, I didn't. There's loads of comedians who I do that for, just because I respect them and I like them a lot. But if I'm working with someone on equal footing, it would have to be a friend or somebody that I know isn't going to be a diva or isn't going to kick off or anything, or just make sure that I'm with someone who's nice and I get on with.
Yeah. Um, do you have any idols that are in comedy without like just idols in general? They don't have to be famous. They can just anyone.
Um, I don't know if I have idol's a weird way of putting it, because I think an idol is when you kind of look up to someone and you want to be them. I don't really have those. I have people who are very important in my life, and without them there, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. But that's because of their impact on me and mine on them and their presence in my life. So no, I don't have any idols actually. I have people I really enjoy. I have I have people who I respect. But I don't idolize anybody.
Do you know Jack Barry?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So he's the one that told me to do stand up originally.
Okay.
It kind of happened because we met each other and I was like, this exists, this thing online exists, we can do comedy, and I've wanted to do it for a while, and he just told me to get on with it and just do it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's very good advice.
it allowed me to make a joke about him, so there's that.
Perfect.
Which I told him recently, and he did laugh at it, which was good. The joke was literally just a comedian told me to do stand up, and the only reason that comedians will ever tell you to do stand up is they either want to steal the joke or you're going to do so badly that'd be funny.
That's good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true as well.
Yeah, so we are nearly towards, got three questions left.
Cool.
Effects of social media on your comedy life, like, has it helped you at all?
If you're sat scrolling through comedians and people that you know and on the circuit, it's the worst thing that you can do because you start questioning yourself, you start comparing your journeys to other people's journeys, or why haven't I performed there? Why hasn't this club asked me to do it? Why aren't I doing that? And it's just the worst kind of thing you do. And so I muted everybody who's in comedy. So I don't see anything because there's no need, you know, if I'm promoting shows or I'm promoting this, I'll do it to the people that aren't comedians, but there's no reason why comedians should be watching each other's, you know, seeing what each other's doing, unless they're good mates and stuff like that. So it's unless people are really good friends of mine, I don't look at anything on social media because I'll be comparing myself to everybody else.
Yeah. Uh, I think it was Will Duggan that said this to me. I don't know if you know him, but he said to me that the journey of being a comedian isn't a race, it's a like a marathon. It's not who like
Yeah,
it's about taking your time, and
it is.
it's not beating other people, it's more having fun.
And it's your own personal journey as well. Some things are going to be
Yeah.
for some people, and some things are going to be for others. There are some comedians that want to do panel shows. There are some comedians that are in comedy because they actually want to be an actor.
Yeah.
And there are some comedians that want to do stand up. So it's everybody wants a different thing out of it, really. Um, so you have to just focus on what's right for you and what's right for you at the time, you know.
Um, I have a mate that started stand up, I want to say like just less than a month and before I did.
Okay.
And her career has it's going amazing. And like I'm so proud of her. She's done so well.
Mm,
But like it's hard to not compare myself sometimes, especially
of
because I'm
course.
like seeing everything she's doing and she's being asked to go to places, and
Yeah.
not comparing myself to that is sometimes difficult. So I can see why you would mute people and not
Yeah.
look at other comedians, because it is, as much as we don't want to and as much as it can affect us mentally, we can't help but compare ourselves to other
No,
people
it's
sometimes.
human nature to compare yourself. You just have to take a step away and take all the actions necessary to help your mental health first and foremost.
Yeah. So what is your best and worst moment of your career as a comedian?
My worst moment was probably bombing in a Toby Carvery in Orpington and then saying anal to a 6-year-old child. Um, was definitely my worst moment. My best moment was there's been so many good ones. I don't know if there have been so many different ones in each level of my career so far. I won Beat the Frog and Bucket. I don't know if you've heard about it before.
Okay. That's
Um,
impressive. That is
but
proper
it's a
impressive.
very good venue. It's a nice venue. The first time I ever performed at Hot Water Comedy Club in Liverpool.
Okay.
That was an amazing. There's been in comparison to the bad moments, there has been so many good ones, and even the bad ones are funny. You know,
Yeah.
when you look back at it, and even that night when you get home, it is you've got to laugh about it. Um, so there's just been so many wonderful moments. MCing at the first place I ever gigged was brilliant as well. Felt like I'd come a little bit full circle with it, so that was great. There's just been so many wonderful moments. The moment when I told my job I wouldn't be coming back was pretty good as well.
Yeah. I that's really impressive that you won Beat the Frog. I'm actually going there tomorrow to the Frog and Bucket, not to do stand up, but I'm going
Oh,
to watch
nice.
I don't know if you know, but I'm gonna go watch Helen Bauer.
I love
Um
Helen Bauer.
Going to see her tomorrow.
She's very,
Um
very good. I saw a show in Edinburgh. She was excellent.
yes, I'm going to see Madam Goodtip, which is her show currently.
Yeah, perfect. She's a very wonderful comedian.
Yes, I met her at MacFest
Yeah, she's
after
so nice too.
watching I went to go watch uh Trusty Hogs live, and she was kind of walking down the street afterwards, and because I sat in the front row she kind of recognized me, and I get comedians autographs, and when I got hers she made a joke about how much she wants to go to Disneyland and like get like the characters to sign the book, and
That
was like
does sound
looking
like a
through the
very Helen
pages.
Bauer thing.
Yeah, she was looking through the pages and seeing if I had anyone cool in it. It was absolutely lovely. She was genuinely lovely.
She's very nice. She's lovely. Yeah.
Like she was like gonna be late for a show, but she made sure to like stop and say hi to me, which was very nice.
Oh, that is nice. Yeah, she's great. She's really, really good. You'll have a good time there.
Yeah. I am quite nervous though, because I'm going with my dad and with a show called
Okay.
Madam Goodtit. I'm expecting the awkwardness.
I don't think it's too bad. I don't think it's sex. I don't think there's much in it about sex. And that's always
Okay.
what I worry about with my parents. But then they come and watch me do stand up quite a lot, and there is quite a lot of sex about that. So it might be awkward watching it, but there's nothing more awkward than watching you watching your parents watching you talk about
Yeah.
it.
Um, um, I think yeah, but going back to it, I think it's really impressive that you won Beat the Frog,
Oh, thanks.
because isn't that like very like hard to win?
I don't. I think no harder than any other gong shows.
Yeah.
I prefer gigging up north. Just, I mean, I'm from the Midlands, and I just think that northern audiences are so much more fun than southern
Yeah.
audiences. I don't know whereabouts you are in the world.
I am like an hour away from Manchester.
Oh, okay. So you're more up north as well.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, northern because I live in London at the minute,
Yeah.
but northern audiences are loads better,
Yeah. Yeah.
loads better. I think Art Water do an open mic night on Mondays.
Okay.
So you should go and do that because that's brilliant.
Okay.
Hot Water's a brilliant room.
Yeah. I go to a lot of gigs like all around like the UK. So I've been to like Manchester, been to London. Um, and I do find that the gigs in Manchester have a slightly nice environment
Yeah,
than London. But that
definitely.
also might be because I've got a bit of a fear of London,
Okay.
because
I
I'm
mean,
not
I love London.
remembering.
I love gigging in London. It's the first place that I started, and there are some really great venues. But just something, there's something a bit more magical about the North comedy scene.
Yeah, I'm quite in like a village, so London, which is like a massive town full of loads of people,
Yeah,
quite scary.
yeah, I can understand.
I think one of my dreams within the start of my career is to win Beat the Frog,
Okay. Have you
because
done
I
it
think
before? Have you done the frog and bucket?
I have not. I'm way too nervous.
No, just
Um,
go and do it. It's fine.
I think it's like
Sounds
very
lovely.
validating to win that.
Yeah, it was good. It was very, very
Yeah,
good. And my parents were there as well, which was nice.
that is quite sweet. Um, my dad told me that like he when I like did my first stand up, he would like wait outside the room, and because like he didn't know if he wanted to, like me to watch like him to watch it, or just stand outside the room and then be there for me when I'm finished, which was quite nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
Um, this is the last question. It's not really a question, but it is in a way. What would you like note to younger self, a self that's like just started stand up?
Um, I suppose it wasn't that long ago, so it's a bit. I can kind of still remember it. Nothing's that serious.
Okay.
Don't take anything seriously. Work really hard. It's all going to be fine,
Yeah.
and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I know that was really boring.
Um,
I'm sorry, but yeah, that is basically just. I think the thing of it. Not. I think even comedians. Some comedians take themselves so seriously, and I understand it's. You've got to work hard. You have to work hard. You have to write. You have to make the time. You have to manage your time properly. But you have to have fun.
yes.
You have to have fun. There's no two ways about it. If you don't have fun, everybody else can tell that you're not having fun.
Yeah.
And that is the main thing. And also, we're not on this planet for very long, so it's more for
Yeah.
that as well. Don't waste any time, just enjoy it.
I think comedy is such an important, like, I used to hate stand-up. I used to hate the idea of stand-up, but it's become such an important thing in my life. So, like, Always Be Comedy. I met my boyfriend through Always Be Comedy.
Okay.
Quite sweet. It's like a really good memory.
It is.
Like
That's a really nice story.
meeting like I mean me and my boyfriend haven't been dating for too long. It's 7 months, so it's not too
Okay.
long. Um, but it's something we regularly go back to and regularly make jokes about. That's it. That's everything. Thank you very
Well,
much for your
I hope I
time
can
today.
be of I hope I can be of help. All right then. Thank you so much.
Okay.
It was nice to
Thank you
meet
very
you.
much. Nice to
I
meet
hope
you
it was
too.
helpful.
It was. Thank you very much.
No worries. Take
See you
care.
later.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.